Solar PV Cast by Shift, a podcast exploring solar energy and the role it plays in improving our lives and our planet. Here's your host, Chris Palliser.
Thanks for joining. It is another episode of the Solar PV Cast. My name is Chris. It is brought to you as always by Shift. For all your solar and energy storage needs in Canada, visit shift.ca. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the future of solar, new tech, new advancements, other ways to harness the power of the sun other than just putting solar panels on your residential or commercial building's roof. Imagine solar in a tree. I'm just going to read some stats here that I thought were pretty cool. Okay. 10 branches made with solar panels, 1 wind turbine, 11 microinverters, wirings, trunk, tree accessories, and the option of battery if you want to go off grid. I'm talking about the hybrid solar tree. I love this. To talk more about the tree and who's behind it is joining us right now. John Coffman, Managing Director from Commercial Solar. John, welcome to the podcast.
Chris, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and pleasure to hear your interest in our hybrid power trees.
Yeah, I mean, all of us are looking for ways to harness the power of the sun. And for a long time, it's been kind of the solar panel. It's the solar farm. Maybe it's on the residential, commercial roof. But you have this hybrid power tree. Now, we're going to keep people in suspense here. Just before we dive into that, just give us a little introduction on yourself and commercial solar.
Well, I spent the first 25 years of my life working with school districts, hospitals, they call them the mush markets, and doing employee benefits, group benefits. I now have 6 grandchildren under the age of 6. And a few years back, I was thinking, what's life going to be like when they're my age? And started developing a real interest in solar and green energy, and went to work with a solar company about 4.5 years ago. Started my own about 3 years ago, and mainly wanted to work in the commercial markets. But I came across this opportunity with the hybrid power trees that, like you said, combine 10 branches of solar cells that are manufactured by Maxion and all that means. And on top, there is a wind turbine. So it's still producing energy even after the sun goes down with wind power. We know that 5 to 10% of people that actually sign a contract and sign up for solar end up not going solar because there was some problem with their roof, or they had shading, or they had permitting issues. They had issue after issue. And that's the nice thing here. Another item that people have consistently said is, I can't have solar panels on my roof from the HOA, or I don't want solar panels on the front of my house. Well, you've got at least an option now. You've got a hybrid power tree. It stands 13 feet tall to the top of the wind turbine. The first set of 5 solar branches start at 9 feet, the second at 11 feet with the wind turbine on top. To blow your mind, it's actually 19 feet tall. 6 feet go into, as we plant the solar trees, we plant the trunk 6 feet, concrete around, and while the concrete is curing, the master electrician is wiring up the hybrid power tree along with any battery that someone has straight in for the consumer.
It's cool because, we always talk about numbers when we're talking about solar. If you install 8 solar panels, that's the equivalent of planting 10 trees or whatever it is. At least this way you can say if you install these panels, you're actually planting a tree.
You're exactly right. And are there ways of getting more power? I mean, it's mind-boggling the panel size in watts, 650 watts and bigger. Are there ways of getting more power? Absolutely. But, with the hybrid power tree, you're looking at about 10,000 kWh per year. My house is about 3,200 square feet, and 2 power trees would replace 100% of the energy that my house used last year.
Wow, that's what it
They
is,
look
say
they
10,000
look
kilowatt
great out
hours.
by a pool,
Sorry?
well lit, and
Sorry?
they look real good out by the pool, and can pick up all of the energy that pool generates. But it's a different option for people to have that may not be able to have panels on the roof, or just prefer to have an artfully decorated power tree in their yard.
Beautiful. What about stratas and complexes? You know, it sounds like you throw a few of these in the common yard.
Absolutely, and there are other commercial type power trees that can be as high as $7.50 per watt. This is more geared for the homeowner, someone that needs power off grid. I've heard a lot of people talking about their lake houses, but as long as you have the power tree and a battery, you've got power and you can store it. It connects well to grid tied systems, or it has the off grid capabilities as well.
Where does the battery? I'm picturing it in the trunk.
Well, it does not come with the battery, but it pairs with a
Okay.
10, 20, 28 kWh battery in phase, and their system is well recommended. So it just gives some options, especially to people that the front of their house is facing south, and everybody wants that.
Yeah, to get the tree up. What's the cost of a hybrid power tree?
Retail, and we love working with wholesaling partners, but retail, which includes installation, it includes one in-state move for the homeowner.
Oh, cool.
So if they're thinking, we're thinking about moving, well, we're going to give them one free in-state move. We're going to pay their electric bill until it is installed, which we're looking at our first deliveries going out June of this year. And at retail, we're talking about $27,500. It comes out to about $3.70 per watt. And the variable there is wind speed. I'm here in Oklahoma City, and you've all heard the musical Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. And I would have thought that Oklahoma is probably one of the windier cities. We actually ranked 29th. But yesterday and today, the wind's been blowing 25 to 35 miles an hour. And we're talking about 12, 14 hours. So the wind turbines were they were modeled at a 5-mile-an-hour wind for 5 hours. And so we think the production is going to vastly outperform what is expected.
What is, I guess, 5 hours, based on that 5-hour test, what is the production of the wind turbine and how does that add to the tree?
5 hours at 5 miles an hour came out to right at 1.3 kW. And so the winds that we see, we're anticipating adding another 2 to 3 kilowatts.
Yeah. And like you said, half the time we get the windy storms at night when the sun's not shining. So there's your answer.
My bedroom is on the second floor, and I hear the wind. We had storms come through. You'll see it on the national news, but we had storms come through last night. And the wind, anytime the wind is blowing, you're creating energy. So
what about durability? In the windstorms, is that going to affect the panels?
Great question. And that's why I wanted to talk about Maxion. The photocells in our branches are Maxion. Maxion was just ranked by CNET in an article, the number one panel manufacturer and photocell company based on a number of criteria on the planet. The cells are Maxion. They come with a 30-year warranty, a 30-year power production guarantee, and they are wind rated up to 100 miles an hour. Now, over the national news the last few weeks, we've been hearing about tornadoes, and the one I heard about was a Category 2 tornado with 115 mile an hour winds. Now, if a tornado hits, it doesn't matter if your panels are roof mount, ground mount, or a hybrid power tree, but they are wind rated up to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the last concern. If you got a tornado rolling through, you're thinking about that later. You're thinking about more important things for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions about hail and things like that. Is it going to damage it? I mean, on that note, how is the hybrid powered tree covered with insurance? Is it? Does it fall under homeowner insurance?
You know, it would be covered by homeowners insurance, but because it is not being attached to the home, you rule out the need for a building permit. You still need a permit for electric, which that's one of the reasons why we can have installations so quick. We will be pre-selling everything from our June delivery, and so we're looking at having the installation by mid-June, wherever the order comes from in the lower 48 states.
How new is this? Is there one out yet? I think you said first one goes out in June, yeah?
Well, that's my first shipment. I've got 50 power trees coming in June, and then 50 a month each month after that.
50, 50.
50, and that can be scaled up to 1,000 a month. And we have every single expectation that we're going to be at 1,000 a month very soon. Keep in mind, the average homeowner is going to need 2 hybrid power trees to cover 100% of their energy. If they've got a nice house and a pool, they may be at 3, but the average is 2. And, you know, just not having panels on the roof, giving another option. The panels are white, and so they look real good with landscape lighting out by the pool, like I said. But it is a Generation 2 product. They had Generation 1 that did not have a wind turbine, but this is Generation 2.
Well, and I love the answer to the big question, like you said. There's a lot of people that want so bad to go solar, but the orientation of the roof doesn't work. It's pointing north, or there's shading, or this, that, and the other. This does solve that problem. What's the feedback been like? Is there genuine excitement from your conversations?
I tell you what, I have not had anybody that didn't want more information. They thought it was the coolest thing they'd ever heard of. And see, that's what's going to make a dent in climate change, be it commercial, be it residential. I heard about a hydro pump that actually connected to your city water before it entered your house, and it was producing between 12 and 15,000 kWh a year, and you're just using water like you normally do.
Wow, yeah,
it's going to take innovations like that. There's a company out of Germany, Heliotech, and they've created a photovoltaic film that they can attach to vertical walls and rounded ceilings. And, you know, all of these items are going to help. And that's what I want to do, is further this for not me, but my grandkids and yours.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of my grandkids that don't exist yet, but thank you. Yeah, it answers the question too, because a lot of people, I mean, building integrated photovoltaics, we talk about that a lot in the sense that we're going to be building with self-generation in mind. We just have to. It's the way forward. But this also does answer the question for all of the millions and millions of current homes that are concerned about their old roof, or if I put panels on, Am I going to have to take them off in 5 years and redo my roof? I'm worried about penetrations in my roof. This answers all those questions.
Those are all real good questions. And I actually got into solar from the roofing industry. And keep in mind, I'm in Oklahoma City. I'm in Tornado Alley. We've had baseball, softball size hail, and golf ball size here recently. Most of the roofs in this state and around this area are going to be less than 6-7 years. But in other parts of the country, you don't go through the same re-roofing every few years. And you're right. That's one of the concerns, is leaking. But I've seen that. It doesn't happen that often. But if you need a new roof and you've got panels up, there's insurance money when there's hail or some reason that you need to replace your roof, that's going to pay for the solar panels to be removed and put back up once they've re-roofed your house. But it takes all that out of the way. It's like a flagpole. They need to be planted 10 feet apart, the base to base, because the branches are going to be about 17 feet in diameter. But again, at 9 and 11 feet, it's out of your way. It's gaining as we'll find out the best place in your yard, but you typically know that as well.
Do the branches turn, or are they static?
The branches are static.
Okay. Can you angle them upon setup, or they just come the way they come?
That's a real good question, but typically they're set. I don't know if on your picture they are at an angle. Now, is it the perfect 35-degree angle for my 35 degree latitude? No, but it's
better than the alternatives.
Absolutely. And we look forward to the production levels, especially because of the wind turbine. And, I used to watch the weather to find out if it was going to rain or if the sun was out. And now I'm listening, what's the wind going to be? And I'm never disappointed when I turn on the news here in Oklahoma.
Well, and in the winter, right, when we are seeing more clouds, you've still got the wind generating. So it is all year. And like you said, it can tie. You're feeding the grid just like you would a normal array. And it works with battery as the other option. Where's the interest in the country coming from? And are you shipping international?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I thought I was speaking with a lady in London. Turned out that she was in South Africa. And she just thought this was the best thing because every single day they've got about a 3-hour period where they have no electricity. And this is in South Africa. She's trying to do business, and that's just the reality that she lives with. There are other parts of the continent of Africa that this is going to produce power with abundant sunlight, with winds. And there's a lot of creative funding and ventures that can help people that seriously need help. But to be able to produce energy by sunlight and by wind, that's what I saw, and I think that this is just the right product at the right time. Pair it up with a good battery, you're going to be saving your own energy, using it when the sun goes down, and still padding your balance when the wind's blowing.
Totally. What's the solar transition like in Oklahoma? Just curious, because up here, I'm based on the west coast of Canada, and it's happening in Canada. People are moving along the adoption curve, but we're still 5, 6, 7 years behind the United States in terms of the adoption. So it's always like looking into a bit of a crystal ball when I get to chat with somebody south of the border, because you guys are ahead. Are you seeing more and more solar pop up everywhere?
That's a great question, and I have visited Vancouver and Whistler and love Northwest Canada. Some of the best sushi I ever had in my life was up there. But
That's right.
but Oklahoma has been an oil and gas state. We've been blessed to have some of the lowest energy prices for decades upon decades upon decades. Even though Oklahoma is tied with Texas as the sixth best state for solar energy based on 14-year weather patterns and sun hours and so on. However, Texas is light years ahead of Oklahoma because of a lot of things: energy rates, deregulation. Oklahoma made some national news because we had the largest rate increase in the country, and it was like 69%. But when you start at 8 cents per kilowatt hour and you go to 11.5, 12 cents, it's a huge percentage, but we still don't pay that much. So we're going to be supplying the hybrid power trees throughout all 48 states. We're going to have the installation either done by our master electricians, or we will partner with master electricians in your area to get your hybrid tree installed.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, for BC, British Columbia, again, where I'm based, hydro is our cheap energy, right? And so a lot of people say, well, hydro is so cheap, 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Why would I do this? Why would I do this? But the amazing thing is that we're seeing people still do it, because all of a sudden, by locking in your energy costs, we know with the electrification of the grid, EVs, we know it's going to go up. So this way, you're just locking it in.
I've seen a lot of people talking that that product's going to be great for the doomsday preppers or you know what? It makes me think. A few weeks back, my phone is with AT&T, and it was down for a good 12 hours, and I'm running around trying to see what I've got going on, borrowing my wife's phone. It was terrible. It's first world problems, but it was terrible because my phone didn't work.
Yeah.
Think about power. With the right setup, with a hybrid power tree, just simply you've got some power. You don't have to, completely replace everything that you do, but with one power tree and one battery, you've always got the capability of running a portion of your life or the majority of your life, and you're not worried about, is there going to be an act of terrorism that takes out this substation? You've got your power. People spend a lot of money on gas. What am I trying to think of?
Everything. People spend a lot of money on everything.
Well, that
food.
But they sit around until the power goes out. The generators, and the prices that they don't do anything until the power goes out. Well, we hope that in the event the power goes out, you've got everything taken care of.
Yeah, and it looks good on the front yard too.
We think so.
And as much as we kind of joke about aesthetics, that is a reason people don't go solar. I don't like the look of panels on my nice clay tile roof or whatever it is, right?
I think we have a product for literally everybody. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about out by the pool. Have you a grove of the trees to pay for all your energy? But one big problem in the solar industry is someone that has a manufactured home. Yeah. The solar lenders would not finance any solar panels going on top of a manufactured home. They think it might drive off. We absolutely love them. Manufactured homes are not that energy efficient, and the majority of $400 a month bills that I've seen are with manufactured homes. And you can set the hybrid power tree right outside, and our national lender absolutely loves manufactured homes. It has nothing to do with your roof.
Totally. Is it? Can you get the tax credit? Can you use the tax credit for them?
Absolutely. And depending upon where you're at, everybody's going to get the 30% income tax credit as long as you pay in income taxes. I don't want to be misunderstood that if you don't pay in income taxes, you're getting some 30% back. But if you pay into taxes, you are going to get the income tax credit that you can use for up to 5 years. But depending upon where you're at, we do offer PPAs, and there are some tax benefits to using a PPA as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe we talked about it just before we hit the record button, but I think in general, we're all just looking for better ways to harness the power of sun and just looking for more options. And I think this is obviously an option, and obviously, not only cost effective with the tax credit, but also, to your point, the grandkids, right? And doing your part.
That, when you see your grandchildren, when you hold your grandchildren, you think you really do want to create something better for them. So I
feel like John's getting emotional here. I like it. I love it.
The seed germinates. So yes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, John, like I said, thanks for I wanted to hear more about this hybrid power tree because, again, building integrated photovoltaics and not only building, but yard integrated photovoltaics is just exciting in general for the solar industry, and we're all here for. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat about the hybrid power tree today.
Absolutely. And for you and your audience can learn more at commercialsolar.biz, commercialsolar.biz.
Perfect. We'll put that in the write-up and tag you guys. And if people want to find out more, the Solar PV Cast is slowly growing a following in Canada, but thanks to conversations like this, and I had a gentleman on from the Chroma Energy Group in Tennessee, we're starting to get a little following in the United States, so I love it and appreciate it.
We do too.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John.
Chris, it's a pleasure.
The Solar PV Cast by Shift with Chris Palliser. To begin your solar journey, visit shift.ca.